So last night we saw Smackdown's final pay-per-view on the road to WrestleMania, the Elimination Chamber. Going into this pay-per-view, there was plenty of questions that people were asking and wondering about the pay-per-view. Me personally, the ones that sprung to mind was Bray Wyatt going to win the Elimination Chamber itself? Was Bray Wyatt finally going to win his first WWE Championship? And that was because there was so many everyone talks, and there were so many people talking on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, about the possibility of Bray Wyatt win. Everyone heard that he might, and it was definitely a possibility. So that was one of the questions that we're going into, as well as that, the all-new Elimination Chamber. We'll get into that a little bit more, but we'll go into it wondering exactly what the changes were going to be, what was going to be different about this Elimination Chamber. The other questions I had personally was two particular superstars, Naomi and Luke Harper. For a long time now, both these superstars have been considered underrated, underused, underutilized, and this pay-per-view, in my opinion, was both of their opportunities to show they could put on a good show, to show they could put on a good match. So it was going to be interesting to see whether they could actually pull that off. Other than that, there was plenty of good, decent matches later on this card. There was plenty of potential in this particular match card, and I was personally looking forward to this pay-per-view a lot. I always love the Elimination Chamber. It's one of my favourite matches in the WWE. I was interested to see what SmackDown Live could do. So yeah, let's review it. So first up on the kickoff show, we had Mojo Rawley versus Curtis Hawkins. We're just brushing this really quickly. It was where it was. It was a kickoff match. Everyone pops Mojo Rawley. It was an okay match. It was an okay. It was what it was. It was a kickoff match. Mojo Rawley picking up the win. Both superstars haven't come off any better, really. Mojo's got a kickoff, which is great. Don't think he's going to get a push, but we'll see where it goes. Only one match on the kickoff show this time, and yeah, that was it. Nothing much to say about that match, really. The first match on the main card was Becky Lynch versus the returning Mickie James. It's going to be quite interesting to see what kind of match these two could put together. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think these two have worked together before in any other promotion. So yeah, I was quite intrigued to see what they could do. It was Mickie James' first singles match since returning to the WWE. Obviously, Becky Lynch has been on quite an up and down ride since coming to SmackDown Live, being the inaugural Women's Champion, obviously dropping the title to Alexa Bliss at TLC. So yeah, it's going to be quite interesting to see what they could put together. The opening of the match, I enjoyed the long lock-up, the roll onto the outside. It was a different start for a kind of a women's match. Enjoyed it. The match itself was decent. It was a good start to the pay-per-view, I think. Especially with Mickie James, was kind of focusing on a lot of ring psychology, working Becky Lynch's arms throughout almost the entire match. Becky Lynch selling that as well was a very good touch to the match. Mainly downside was the ending to the match, the kind of the roll up by Mickie, reversed by Becky into kind of a roll up pin, almost like a stolen win. I'm not sure what it did for either superstar. I think Mickie James possibly needed the win on a first singles match back in WWE, and if Becky Lynch was going to get the win, it would have been preferred to be different. I'm not sure how to word it, but at the end I just felt like, oh, not sure where they're going to go from here. But as always, we'll see. I'm sure they've got something planned. I do feel like this feud's not ended. I do feel like it's going to continue, especially with the end. Maybe that's what they're aiming for it to continue smoothly. But we'll see where they go for it on Tuesday. Next up, we had Dolph Ziggler in a handicap match against Kalisto and Apollo Crews. Now, before this match even started, I wasn't sure about this match. I wasn't confident about this match, simply being because Ziggler's the heel, Crews and Kalisto are the faces, and they're putting him in a handicap match where Ziggler's the underdog. He's the guy that's kind of picked on. It's nearly always the face, being the 1 on 2 or 3 or 4. So it was a bit odd. It was giving the faces the advantage of kind of picking apart the heel, which didn't make much sense to me going in. Obviously, when it started, Ziggler attacking Kalisto on the apron, everything made sense. I was expecting a singles match between Crews and Ziggler after that, which I was actually looking forward to more than I was the handicap match. I thought that was going to be the match in the first place when they kind of started this angle. I enjoyed Ziggler attacking Kalisto. It's kind of solidified his heel status, or solidified it even more. The match itself was a decent start. It was a good start until Kalisto came back down. Came hobbling down to the ring like he broke his back and he was in agony, struggling to get up the steel steps, struggling onto the ring apron. He was hanging on for dear life while holding his paw back. And then as soon as Apollo tagged him in, what a better way to come into the ring with a broken back than with a springboard move. Yeah, no back injury whatsoever after that. Didn't like it. Kalisto should have stayed in the back, especially when they went on to win the match. It would have been more advantageous, in my opinion, to just have Cruz win the match himself. As we all know, Cruz is very talented in the ring, but he's not got much going for him at the moment. A singles win against Ziggler could have given him that. They could have continued the feud. They could have ended it in a different way between the two without Kalisto involved. Overall, this match disappointed me. I wasn't expecting much going in. The start lifted me up a bit, and then the end just pulled me back down. Unfortunately, it was due to Kalisto. I love Ziggler. I love Cruz's work ethic. I love him in the ring. But until he can bring some more depth to his character, I'm not that interested in him. I don't think it's all WWE's booking fault, as most people like to blame. He just doesn't seem to bring anything with his character at all. So it'll be interesting to see where they go again. We'll tune into Smackdown on Tuesday to find out what angle comes out of this. But for me, it was probably the worst match on the card. It was the biggest letdown of the night for me, personally. So, following on from the handicap match with a tag team turmoil match, and personally, I've never understood. I understand it, but I've never been a fan of the format of a tag team turmoil match, simply because it puts so many teams at such a disadvantage, and there's never an angle where people earn their spot in the tag team turmoil match. Similar to the Royal Rumble, obviously if you come in at 30, you've got such an advantage over the person who enters at 1. And in the tag team turmoil match, that's never addressed hardly, other than the commentators putting in words here and there. It's never addressed at all. Especially into the lead up, there's no kind of talk about earning a spot when you come in. So it kind of always puts people at disadvantage. Now, we opened with Rhino and Heath versus Breezango. I love both tag teams. From NXT, Tyler Breeze he's massively talented in the ring. I love the gimmick he's got with Fandango, actually. I don't think they'll be champions, but I think they're great to watch. And I love Heath and Rhino as well. I think they were great inaugural SmackDown Tag Champs. And the opening match, it was decent. It was a good match to start with. Obviously, Heath and Rhino picking up the win on Breezango. I think we all saw that coming. Breezango the first eliminated. Next up, we had the Vaudevillains, I do believe. Yep, the Vaudevillains. Next up, we had the Vaudevillains. They came down to the ring. Again, we weren't expecting much. Quick pin. They were in the ring for maybe 3 or 4 minutes before Heath and Rhino got the pin. Didn't expect much from Vaudevillains. I don't feel like they've had any give ever since the injury to Enzo. And unsurprisingly, I'm not sure at what point WWE will push them again, or if they ever will. Kind of every other week I expect to whether they've been released. But they keep going, they keep showing up, they keep fighting. We'll see if WWE ever gives them a chance again at any form of tag title. But we'll see how it goes in terms of those. After the Vaudevillains were eliminated, we've got the Usos down, the new heel Usos, obviously. I love the Usos now they've turned heel. I think they'll bring a great, more dynamic. I weren't a fan of the Usos before. I know everyone seemed to be a fan of the Usos before, but I personally weren't. I love them a lot more now. Back and forth between those and Rhino and Slater. I think again we all saw it coming. Usos then pinning and eliminating Heath and Rhino. There was quite a loud spot call from Slater. I don't know if you guys heard it, but when he was hanging onto the ropes, or when he had Uso, I don't know which one, Uso hanging onto the ropes, he said, "Let go, let go, let go," for the roll up so he can get the kick and get the pin. It was very, very loud. But yeah, they got the pin. Usos advance. Next up, American Alpha, which was interesting because I thought the format was going. American Alpha were going to be last out. I feel like American Alpha should have been first out, in my opinion. They're the kind of team that you love to watch push through the pain and push through the agony. Obviously, they did that eventually, but it'd have been nice to storytelling to have them come out at first and maybe have Usos come out last. Almost, obviously they're heels, they're coming out, they mean business. It would have been a more overcoming story, but it's where it is. American Alpha came out, good back and forth. Usos getting eliminated next, and then going on the attack, beating down American Alpha. And now, I'm not gonna lie, at this point, I'd forgot about the Ascension, and the bell didn't ring, and I thought, why isn't the bell rung? Oh my god, the Revival are going to debut on Smackdown at the Elimination Chamber. And then JBL reminded us all that the Ascension were next out. Thanks, JBL. Thanks a lot. Down come the Ascension, slim pickings, and I genuinely thought for a second they were going to let them win. I feel like it felt in the arena like people wouldn't have minded that. I'd have minded it a lot. Simply because SmackDown is the land of opportunity, but you have to earn that opportunity and you have to earn that win. And it would have made them heels. We also have the Usos as heels, so over them and they didn't win. Obviously, American Alpha managed to get in the win, fighting back. All in all, it was a good match. Kind of had a move. For me personally, I'd have moved the kind of entries around and the kind of who got what pin, but it was what it was. And yeah, it was an okay match. And so far up to this point, the pay-per-view had been not disappointing by any means, just a kind of an average pay-per-view. Obviously had a lot of good matches going forward, but at the moment, it was an okay pay-per-view. Nikki Bella and Natalya then went at it in a match that's been building for a couple of months now. They've both said some very hurtful and very mean things towards each other over the past few months. At one point, Natalya telling Nikki Bella that she would die alone after John Cena left her, and then a few weeks later telling her that if she wasn't married, John would be with her. Burn. Anyway, going into the match, I was looking forward to it. I love the build they've done. You don't really see that kind of build in the women's division very often, and it was nice to see such a long build going into a match with them not facing off on SmackDown either. I feel that's what WWE fail at sometimes. They give away their matches leading up to the pay-per-view. They didn't do that here. They had brawls, they had this, they had that, but they never had that one-on-one singles match going into it. So it was going to be interesting to see. The match itself was okay. Too many of this from Natalya. Once or twice was enough. She did it about 8 times, maybe 9. I might go back and count, but it was 8 or 9. I think it was a bit too much for me. The ending, double count out, wasn't too bad. I don't think. Like I said, I couldn't pick a winner, and I think double count out meant this feud could last for a little bit longer while I can develop the women's championship and maybe give the opportunity to Nikki a little bit later on. We'll see where it goes, but I think double count out did both women a favour. I feel like either woman winning would have put down the other too much, so I think it was the right decision in the end, and it lets this feud continue a little bit more. Even though this felt like the end of the feud, I'm more than happy to see these two go at it a little bit more in the future. Moving on, we then went on to Luke Harper versus Randy Orton. Now, as I said before, in my opinion, this was Luke Harper's chance to prove that he was underutilized and was underrated. He'd had the opportunity in the past to prove this, but it was very often in tag matches. It was on SmackDown. This was one of his first opportunities on pay-per-view, on the main card, in a singles match, to put on a good match. And he did it. This was a great match. I loved this match. And as of late, I've not been a fan of Randy Orton. I feel like he's not the Randy Orton he used to be. This match made me feel like Harper brought the best out of Orton. It was a great back and forth match. The storytelling was superb, especially in the lead up to the match on SmackDown with the kind of fallouts with the Wyatt family. We've been expecting Luke Harper to kind of go at it with Bray at some point. He hasn't yet, but we've got him against Orton, who is now part of the Wyatt family. And yeah, it was a great match. It was a great back and forth. It was a great couple of spots from the two. Went to the outside a couple of times. Luke Harper getting the upper hand quite a lot. He hit the double super kick to Orton. I genuinely thought he was going to get the pin there. That was genuinely an airfall for me. I was off my seat, but he didn't. Eventually, Randy getting the Aki out of nowhere. Obviously, as most people predicted, Randy picking up the win, giving him momentum going into a Rumble. I only hope that WWE now fully see the potential that Luke Harper has, and they don't drop him down. Hopefully, he kind of maybe drops into the Intercontinental title race. Obviously, he's a former Intercontinental title holder. Maybe at Wrestlemania if they set up the ladder match again. I'd love to see him go on to win that. I think he fully deserves it. I think he can do a lot with that title. Whether they do that or continue some sort of Wyatt angle, I don't know. But we'll just have to see. The match itself, like I said, I absolutely loved it. Up to this point, it was easily the best match of the night, and it was going to be interesting for me to see if they could top it with either of the two matches left to go. We then got a quick backstage segment, again between Natalia and Nikki Bella. Now, one of the rumours that I've been hearing on the rumour mill, pause the video if you don't want to hear this, but going into WrestleMania, one of the rumours it's going to be John Cena and Nikki Bella versus Miz and Maurice in a mixed tag match. A lot of people are saying that's not going to happen. There's no angle there. I don't know how they're going to get that to make sense. This backstage segment kind of hinted at that a little bit when Natalia attacked Nikki and pushed Nikki into Maurice, throwing the powder all over her. I liked how they didn't advance on it. Maurice didn't get back up and get in her face. It was just kind of a little moment that you saw, and then it was back on the brawl. But that makes me think they're definitely going for that angle. But we'll see where it goes. The Women's Championship was on the line next. Alexa Bliss defending against Naomi. Again, like I said in the start, Naomi, I feel, is talented in the ring. She's getting a lot better on the mic, and this was her opportunity to show that she could put on a good match. I'll talk about my downfall first, and then we'll get into the match. And my only downfall was that the match was less than 10 minutes, especially considering the outcome. I feel this match should have gone for a lot longer, at least a little bit longer in comparison when Alexa Bliss first won her championship against Becky Lynch at TLC in the tables match. That match ran for 15 minutes. Obviously, added stipulation, but if Naomi wants to prove herself, I feel like this match had to go a little bit longer. Now, no one was expecting a Okada or Omega 45-minute showcase, but maybe 15 minutes or a little bit more. No longer than 20, but maybe 15 minutes would have been great from these two. It would have given a lot more feel to the match. Towards the end of the match, there was a little bit of a botch when Naomi first went for the split-legged moonsault, and Bliss tried to move out of the way, didn't quite get out of the way, and kind of Naomi hit it while Bliss was on her stomach, so she got it, but then Bliss rolled out and went for the roll-up pin with not much room. It was a little bit messy, and the match kind of came to a close really scruffily a little bit, I think. So that could have been a little bit better. But, I don't think Naomi deserved the win. She deserved the opportunity, and after the match, she deserves to be continuing in that feud. But I feel like Bliss should have retained. Bliss has been a great champion, and she's only getting better. Maybe the loss will make her get even more better. I hope she gets a rematch. And obviously, it's pretty obvious that Naomi will go into WrestleMania with the championship. I might sound mean, but I hope she loses it, but stays in the picture. She'll be a good champion. She won't be a great champion, I don't think. We'll see. But I think Bliss probably deserved to win the match, and the match should have gone on for a little bit longer. But the match itself, it did what it needed to do, obviously, in WWE's eyes. So we'll see if Naomi can kind of show that she can be a great champion moving forward. On to the match itself, and we started with AJ and Cena in the ring. Perfect start to the match. It was one of the only starts they could have pulled off. Didn't go to the outside at all. It was purely in the ring. It was 5 minutes of the Royal Rumble match. Great start to the match until Dean Ambrose came in. As soon as he did come in, obviously the lunatic fringe took it straight to the outside. Let's not mess around in the ring. Let's get straight to the steel, throwing Cena straight into the chains, onto the top of the pod, dropping the elbow. Brought his Dean style, the Ambrose style, into the ring, into the chamber. Turned into the Ambrose Asylum, of course, until Bray came in, the person everyone thought was going to win. And the match was back and forth all the way through. There was plenty of decent spots. A couple of my personal favourites was when Bray was hanging through the turnbuckle and AJ hit the kind of the springboard leg drop through the turnbuckle. I enjoyed that. Ambrose and AJ on top of the pod, I enjoyed when AJ was smashing his head into the side of the plexiglass. That felt to me more brutal than the chains. I don't know why. It was just the sound of him just hitting against the plexiglass repeatedly. You could see like the stains of his face and his saliva all over the glass, which I enjoyed. Funnily enough, we've got the Tower of Doom with Ambrose, Bray, and AJ. That was a good spot. There was plenty, like I said, there was plenty of spots. AJ and Cena climbing the side of the chamber, and obviously Cena falling down. It was a shame we didn't see Cena hit the floor. It was kind of the up shot that we had of AJ as Cena fell. But that was a great spot climbing the chamber. Corbin came in next, cleared house as we expected. At this point, every superstar was looking strong a little bit. I felt like the longer it went on, the less realistic it got in terms of ring psychology. At one point, Corbin hit Cena with the end of days, which is obviously a devastating move. Cena was down for about 9 minutes after that, maybe even 10. And then the match kind of continued with AJ laying on the outside, Cena laying on the outside, and Wyatt laying on the outside for an extended amount of time. I'd like to see more fights going on around the ring at the same time, but we had Corbin versus Ambrose. They were going at it. Once Corbin hit Ambrose, got him down on the floor, waited for Miz to come into the ring. Miz came in, it was a bit edgy. Great work from Miz, as always. Looked absolutely terrified the entire match in that pod. Came out religiously, stood at the back. Obviously, Ambrose getting the roll-up pin on Corbin. It was a great way to eliminate Corbin. Obviously, he's the big guy. He was kind of the big, scary guy in the ring, and we're going to see what he can do. So it was a good way for him to be eliminated rather than kind of a clean pin. It was nice to see him had a roll-up almost. Obviously, he wasn't happy about it. Attacked Ambrose, threw him through the plexiglass. It was obviously a great spot. Hit him within the days in the ring. Goes out of the chamber, and then Miz kind of slowly edges his way out, and then runs for the pin, eliminates Ambrose again. Eliminated Ambrose with credibility, which was the important thing. Both Corbin and Ambrose both eliminated first and second, but remained credible threats going forward, which was nice to see. This is what I didn't like. Miz was in the match for about 5 minutes, and the only move he was hit with, was the AA. Now, I know it's the AA, I know it's John Cena, but come on. The year Miz has had, he really deserved to put on a show in this match. He really deserved to show people what he could really do. He'd done that already just by standing in the pod. Everyone else was kind of standing there menacing, like, yeah, let's go, I'm ready. Miz put character into his pod, and he got rewarded by being eliminated in 5 minutes with one move, an AA. A move that AJ Styles kicked out of. Granted, it's AJ Styles, but a move that Styles kicked out of at the Royal Rumble about 47 times, including one off the second rope. Didn't like that at all. Didn't give Miz much credibility going forward as a threat. I honestly thought they should have had Miz eliminate Cena as a reward. No one expecting to win, me included, but I thought they'd give Miz the pin on Cena to give him that credibility. So as kind of a reward, here you go, you pin the champ. Didn't happen. That would have helped as well, push the whole Miz Maurice Cena Nikki match at WrestleMania. Like I said, we'll see where it goes, but didn't like that very much at all. And going forward, they kind of, like I said, the ring cycle, that was the worst spot of the ring psychology for me. But then going forward again, nice little triple threat we had for a little bit until Wyatt hit Cena with the Sister Abigail. Again, I thought it was initially kicked out. It's in Cena's nature. When he got that pin, that was made me go, he's won this, because that was too easy. Again, Cena kicked out repeatedly against AJ Styles at Royal Rumble, from the forearm, from the Styles Clash numerous times. One Sister Abigail, obviously he had the Styles Clash earlier in the match as well, but one Sister Abigail and it was done. Again, didn't continue there was not much continuity there, but it was what it was. Wyatt got the win, the place popped, the place went loud. Cena's out of the ring. It was AJ Styles one-on-one with Bray Wyatt, a match that I would love to see personally. Now, at this point, I was hoping that Luke Harper would show up, or even Eric Rowan would show up. The lights would go black. Luke Harper would appear in the ring, hit the Sister Abigail that's been kind of teased for a while, and give AJ the win. And then at WrestleMania, we could have had AJ and Orton, Wyatt and Harper. Obviously, the earlier match, Harper and Orton, the result of that meant that wouldn't make much sense. Wouldn't be very realistic. It wouldn't have been very. It'd been a bit silly. So after the result of Harper Orton, wasn't expecting that. But moving forward, these two had a good back and forth. Wyatt attempting this as Abigail, missing a couple of times. AJ hitting the 450 splash off the rope, fantastic. Didn't get the pin. Obviously goes for the phenomenal forearm. Wyatt catches him in the Sister Abigail. Great catch, great reversal. Straight to Sister Abigail. Gets the 1, 2, 3. Bray Wyatt is the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Now he's deserved it, hands down. Whether he can hold on to it and whether he can prove that he deserved it is another thing, as with all new champions. The great stand at the end with Orton coming out and standing at the top of the apron and staring him down. I'm hoping they get on for a while on Smackdown. I hope it's kind of a breakdown, not just a we're not family anymore, we're facing Wrestlemania, we can't be family. I'm hoping they kind of try and stick together and it breaks down further along the road. But we'll see where that goes from there. The pay-per-view overall, I enjoyed it. It was an okay pay-per-view. I was expecting a little bit more from some of the matches, but it was okay. Now, as far as the grade's concerned for this pay-per-view, the Elimination Chamber, I've been torn between a few. Obviously, some matches let it down for me, some matches brought it back up. The Harper Orton match was fantastic. The Elimination Chamber itself was a good match, plenty of good spots. With a new WWE champion, kind of putting the odds out the side and the expectations of Bray Wyatt winning, which we expected, which always takes something away from it. It was a good pay-per-view. So in the end, I've settled on grading the Elimination Chamber Stratisfactory. Guys, thanks for watching. This was my first video, my first review of the pay-per-view, my first video altogether. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you did. I'll be reviewing Raw, SmackDown, and all the pay-per-views moving forward. In the long run, we'll maybe move on to reviewing New Japan shows and other promotions, but we'll see where it goes. For now, it's just WWE, Raw, SmackDown, and the pay-per-views. Coming out of the Elimination Chamber, it'll be interesting to see what Raw can do at Fastlane. Obviously, there's not very many expectations. No one wants Goldberg to win the Universal Championship, but we'll see whether Raw actually pull that trigger. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys.